Splitgate has 22 total maps for you to portal your way around, and hundreds more if you count community-made ones. And since you guys all liked the last one so much, we're doing another Splitgate tier list, Map Edition. I, of course, will be going over only the base 22 maps, which includes the simulation ones. And, to make this tier list a bit more structured and thoughtful, rather than the last one where it was just my gut decision making, I will be basing my rating off of a few factors. Number 1, map aesthetic, how it looks and sounds. Number 2, layout, how quickly can you move through the map? Is it confusing and or difficult to get around? Number 3, portal mechanics, how well does the map utilize portals? Besides portal walls, are there portal kill opportunities? Can I use momentum in some areas? Are there cheeky angles where I can get around somebody? Number 4, do I like it? Because sometimes you just don't like something, or sometimes you just like it and there's no real explanation. And finally, number 5, whatever else I can think of. There may be small factors that I might consider or I didn't think of before. I could have done like spawn locations or weapons that spawn in the map, but those I don't know well enough, and frankly, I don't think would change the results very much. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're here again on tiermaker.com. This is a tier list that I actually made. You can follow me on Twitter at ElusiveMaster. I made this tier list because I thought that it needed to be updated. A lot of the maps looked different. A lot of the older tier lists were very outdated from like Season 0. And it would lump all the simulation maps together. I think they all deserve their own chance in the spotlight. So, let's get started here with Abyss. I am a big fan of Abyss. I love Abyss. I've always loved Abyss. Abyss is one of those maps that it was great before, and now that they polished it, it's even better. So as far as the map aesthetic, it looks great, it sounds great. It is one of the better maps out there, just as far as aesthetic goes. The layout, I feel like it's pretty good. There's a lot of portal walls, a lot of opportunities to get around. Very easy to get behind people. I think you have such good opportunities, and if you're smart and stay near portal walls, you'll do really well. You'll do really well. This map has momentum chances. I don't think they're super easy to use against players. There's a couple really good clips out there, but it feels pretty centralized, so it doesn't feel like you can use it all that well. There really isn't a chance for a portal kill opportunity at all, unless you're just lucky and somebody goes through your portal and falls off the map, which is unlikely. There's really nowhere to set up a portal kill. This map does have good angles, though. There's a secret spot through a wall you can shoot through. If you're constantly looking around and scanning the area, you will find a lot of different angles that you didn't think of before. Do I like it? Yes, I love Abyss. Abyss is a really good map. So based on all that criteria, I say we put Abyss in A. That is an A tier map. Atlantis. Atlantis is pretty cool. It has a very nice hotel aesthetic. It looks good. It could use some polish, I think. I think it's a bit old, but where it stands, it's not that bad looking. None of the maps are really all that bad looking. I think the layout's nice. It's a little bit difficult to get around. Just a couple areas are very tight without much portal walls. Like the bottom area in the center. There's only 2 portal walls, and if you're in that center area, there's nowhere to go. You have to physically run somewhere. A lot of tight corridors. It's kind of difficult to portal to certain areas. But generally, as long as you're going through your portal, shooting as far down the hallway as you can usually get pretty far. This map has no portal kill opportunities. There's no pits, nothing, which is not a problem. There's a couple areas where you can use momentum, such as both spawns and even the big center room, but generally it's not easy to use or even really feasible. This map is very tight, very corridor-centric. Angles? Not really. There aren't very many angles in Atlantis. There's a couple you can sneak around people in a couple of the open areas, but generally it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty much, you gotta see them first and be prepared for that. And do I like Atlantis? I do like Atlantis. I think Atlantis is a pretty good map. I like the uniqueness of the hallways. It's just, I think that kind of map needs to exist in an arena shooter. So we're gonna put Atlantis in B. I think it belongs in, let's put it in C. Club Silo. Club Silo is a very cool looking map. I think it could use an upgrade. I think it could use a little bit of a tune-up, but it is not bad looking whatsoever. I think it is fine as it is. I really like the music in the background. I like the way it looks. I like how it feels like a futuristic club. It's a little weird because it's an arena, but I think it's great. I think the music's great. I think the location's great. I think all the different small things, like you can see people dancing in the background. There's like a bar, and if you actually look at the environment and kind of not look at it as like this is a wall that I'm hiding behind, and you think it is like, oh, this is actually a bar. This is a lounge. There's a pool here, and there is a pool in Club Silo. I think when you look at it like that, a lot of it fleshes out, and you start to realize what is everything there. So I think aesthetically, looks great, sounds great. It's got quite a few portal walls. Getting around is interesting. I don't rank it that strongly as far as layout goes, because as many rooms as it has and as many avenues to get through them it has, always feels like when you spawn on the floor, you're always fighting to get up to that second level. The second level is where most of the meat of the game is, and even the third one. Because it's way easier, I think, to get to the third level from the second one than it is to get from the first to the second one. It just feels like you're at a disadvantage if you're on the ground. And depending on where you spawn, it can be really difficult to get up high without someone killing you. It's a little confusing. I don't think the map layout is all that difficult to understand. It's just, I think it's a bit more difficult to get up efficiently. Portal mechanics, we do have momentum. Definitely, this map has momentum. Again, not used very frequently, but it can be done. There are definitely places for it. The map doesn't have too many clever and cheeky portal angles. It's mostly behind someone. I think a lot of the time it's, I'm portaling behind you. Can I get to you first before you realize I portaled behind you? There are no portal kill opportunities, as far as I'm aware, on Club Silo. I think the portal kill maps have to have a bottomless pit or just be out in the open. Do I like Club Silo? Yes, I do like Club Silo. Club Silo is a good map. I'm going to have to put Club Silo in B, I think. Crag. Now, Crag is definitely one of the lower tier maps. I'm saying that now, I already know. Does Crag look good? I think Crag needs a facelift. I think Crag, it knows what it wants to be, it knows what it is, and I think it achieves that. But compared to other maps, like Abyss and Foregone Destruction, and even Carmen Station, I think it needs a bit of work, personally. I think it might even need a new layout, honestly. I think it's cool, the being in a mine situation going on, with all the mining equipment around. I think it just needs a bit of polish. Now, I know Crag, now that I've been playing for so long, but Crag's layout is so confusing. Like, I don't get lost as much anymore, but I used to get lost all the time. It was always like, everything kind of looks the same. It's hard to tell where you're at, and as far as getting from place to place, I think it's pretty difficult. I think it's hard to know exactly what tunnel connects where and how to get to a certain place unless you're just out in the open, but then you're vulnerable and you can get shot. There's not very many ways to move portal-wise. I think there's some locations that could use a portal wall that don't have one, like the end of some hallways. But I understand too many portal walls makes it less interesting. It can make spots unviable completely. There are portal kill opportunities. It can happen. You can die in the water at the bottom. I think it's very unlikely to happen. It's not a guaranteed portal kill like, say, Foregone Destructions. You can definitely get momentum on this map. There's a big drop off in the center. There's several portal walls actually that you can fly through and will get you a kill. So I think as the momentum kills, very good. I think those are very viable, and you can definitely get those. Angles, not so much. I think you can get certainly from the bottom to the top pretty easily, and you can get a couple back angles on people. You can get behind people or get above them. But I think as far as in the tighter areas, I think it's difficult. There's no cheeky angles in this map. I don't think there's anything really sneaky or unknown. And do I like Crag? Crag ranks pretty low for me. It is definitely not a map I would choose, generally. I wouldn't vote for Crag. So I think we gotta put Crag in D. Foregone Destruction is a very good map. I have loved Foregone Destruction, same with Abyss, since I have started playing this game, even before the facelift of both maps. Foregone Destruction is so good. And even though they changed the layout a little bit in the most recent update, I still think it's fabulous, and I think that change made it better, personally. It looks great. I love the skybox. I love both ends. The red team and the blue team, both sides have really cool background elements. I think the small differences between each side is great. Just every part of it, it just screams good. It just looks good and sounds good, and I love the imagery with the big power orbs like all over the map and the statues. It's great. It looks so good. The layout, classic. Can't go wrong with this. Two sides, two towers, perfectly parallel on both sides. You can easily get to the other side of the map from spawn. Depending on which of the 4 spots you spawn in, you can get to the other side of the map with one portal. Just bam, you're over there. I don't think it's all that confusing either. I think it's very straightforward. There's the spawns, there's kind of a lower section, there's an upper section in the middle, there's a lower section in the bottom. I think it's very easy to understand and know where you are and where you're going. Portal mechanics, definitely portal kill opportunities. There are several on this map, and I've done both. They're really fun to pull off. It's incredible. The feeling of getting a portal kill is so nice, because it's like either it's I fooled you or you trusted an enemy portal and you got bit, and it's great. There are so many opportunities in this map for momentum usage. There's obviously on the back of each side, there's a portal wall and a drop, but also on the sides of the map as well, there are spots you can drop down on in Portal 2 as well. And then there's the launch section, and you can launch from pretty much any portal surface on this map. It's great. You can get momentum kills, you can fly across the map, get height, get advantage. It's really good. And the angles, there are a lot of cheeky angles here. Not as like sneaky as, say, a secret hole in the wall like on Abyss, but if I can portal to the opposite side of the map from spawn, I'd say that's pretty cheeky, that's pretty sneaky, and that's good. Do I like Foregone Destruction? Absolutely, 100%. Foregone is S tier. Up next we have Helix. Helix is interesting. So, the map aesthetic of Helix, I think it's alright. Helix definitely needs a facelift. I think Helix needs one more than Crag does, personally. Helix, according to what little Splitgate lore we have, is a prison. It's a correctional facility. There are posters of wanted criminals on the walls, and apparently, through the lore, the prisoners can participate in a game of Splitgate, and if they win, they can earn their freedom. Otherwise, they're just entertaining people, and I think they might die? I think it might actually be a real deathmatch? Who knows? The lore isn't solid right now, but that's apparently what it is. So, aesthetically, it's okay. The layout is interesting, for sure. There's definitely a higher part, middle part, and a lower part, which I think a lot of these maps have. A lot of them have that in common. There's the two sides. It's perfectly symmetrical. Some maps are symmetrical, but like they're mirrored on the other side or like flipped. I think it's pretty easy to understand. If you know one side, you know the other. Portaling around isn't that hard. You kind of just know where to go. Technically, you could get a portal kill here because they're bottomless pits, but I don't think it's very likely. You can get momentum on Helix. I don't see people doing it, which leads me to believe it's not a viable strategy. There's nowhere good to go, but it can be done. There are a couple angles. I think overall Helix doesn't have a lot of really good cheeky angles, but you can pretty much always get behind somebody, or at least get closer instead of engaging them from super far away. Do I like Helix? Helix is okay. Again, it's one of those maps I don't tend to choose. So I think Helix goes in D with Crag. Highwind. I'm gonna come out of the gate right now. I don't like Highwind. I simply do not like Highwind. It has a nice aesthetic. I think it looks really good, being a forest in Japan, one of the tallest forests, resting on top of one of the tallest trees. So that's good. I think it looks nice. I think the wood and the kind of Japanese architecture, I think it looks good. I think the map looks good. The layout is confusing. It is very confusing. I'm just going to come out and say that. I know the map now, and I don't think there are a lot of good portal angles to get you around. Up top, definitely, but if you go below, I think it's very difficult to get around and figure out where you are and get back up top. Even worse than Club Silo. There are portal kill opportunities here. You can definitely trick someone into falling through one of these side grates, but I think they have too much of a chance to notice they've been duped and save themselves before they fall. So while it can happen, I don't think it's super likely. I think it's more likely than other maps. Definitely less likely than some. Definitely chances for momentum here. I use momentum here all the time to get to that really high spot early on. And portal angles, when you're up top, there are a lot of good portal angles up top. Portaling behind somebody, up, down, wherever you need to go. And do I like it? I already said I don't. I don't like high wind. But based on what I've said with this criteria, I don't think it's F tier. I think it's the worst map, but I don't think it's F tier. I don't think it's that bad. So we're putting it in D. Okay, now we're getting into the simulation maps, which we gotta completely wipe out the map aesthetic section of this because they all look the same, which is fine. But to give a overall summary, I think the map aesthetic is kind of cool. I think it's really cool seeing that it's in an arena. It's kind of like an official, so it's not like out in the real world. It's like an official, like this is the Splitgate tournament. You know, this is the championship. These are the official games. This is people actually playing against each other on a structured map in a structured area, specifically built for this purpose. And if we're correct in them all being simulations, it's not real anyway. It's all in a computer. It's simulated. But I think this gives us a good view of like the split games themselves, and like, oh, there's actually a crowd here watching, and I think it's really cool. I think they look great. They all kind of tend to look similar though. That's a bit of a problem. It's all the same. So for the layouts, they're all symmetrical, every single one, which makes it nice, honestly. It makes it really easy to get around and know where you're at. These maps do not have any momentum at all. I can think of one or two of them that actually have a possibility for momentum. Angles, it's pretty standard. It's get behind the guy or get beside him. Nothing super cheeky, I don't think. There are, technically you could get a portal kill if someone went through your portal and fell into one of the pits, but again, it's not very likely, and none of them are set up to get portal kills. So we'll just go through them. Alpha, I like Alpha. I do like Alpha. Alpha's pretty good. We're gonna put Alpha in A. I think the ability to get to the other side real quickly. There's a down spot, which I think makes for good opportunities to be able to run around and hide or sneak around to the other side. Bravo, I don't like Bravo very much. I just think it's there's too many hallways. There's too many corners. I think it's not difficult to get around, but it's harder than others. I'm gonna put that in C. Charlie, I don't like Charlie either. I can't really explain why I don't like Charlie. I just think it's really small, so we'll put that in C as well. So Simulation Delta I have mixed feelings about Delta. I like how big and symmetrical it is. I like the round part with like the little upper section. I think it's better than Bravo and Charlie, personally. I'm gonna put that in B. Simulation Echo, also not a bad map. I really don't have anything interesting to say about it. It is what it is. It's got its sides, it's up, it's down. I think Echo goes in B as well. Foxtrot is interesting because I think it's one of the biggest ones. So there's a lot of chances if you're playing takedown for people to hide. Pretty difficult, but not too bad. I think Foxtrot's a solid B. Golf is another one I have mixed feelings with. I want to put it with Bravo and Charlie because I generally tend to not like it. I'm going to put it in C. Hotel, actually pretty good. I have not played on this one very much, but I do like it. I think Hotel is a good map. I say we put Hotel in B. Impact is interesting. I don't like Impact as much as other maps. It's not super low on my list. I think Impact has a pretty good aesthetic. I love the idea of a map taking place on a farm, a futuristic space farm at that. I love how it has a story to it. It's like, yeah, this is a normal farm on this planet somewhere, and a spaceship crashed into it. Nobody knows what the aliens are or what happened or anything. It's just weird. And this whole thing just got converted to a Splitgate arena, because why not? I think the two sides, the alien spaceship and the farm, I like the difference between them. I like the farm side more than the spaceship side, but this map is a bit funky. I don't think it's super confusing either. It's pretty easy to tell where you are and where you're headed based on just the environment alone. There are some areas that I gravitate towards because I like them more. I feel like I have more control over fights in certain areas like the farm versus the alien spaceship. There are no portal kill opportunities on this map, no bottomless pits. There are a couple spots where you can get momentum. There's a couple portal surfaces that you could drop onto. In the farm area, there's a circle that goes into the sewer. You can drop into that and launch somewhere, potentially. I don't see people use it very often, but it looks like it's meant to be used. There's a couple angled portal walls that look like they're perfect for flying through. There are a couple good angles. Most of them are pretty obvious, though. I don't think there's very many sneaky ones, but I feel like it's very easy to get around. Do I like Impact? I'd say I like it more than I don't like it. We're gonna put Impact in C. Carmen Station. Carmen Station is a very cool map. I like Carmen Station quite a bit. I think the idea that it's a station where people board ships and disembark. It's basically like a space airport, and it's really cool. I like how big and open it is, and I like how you can see into space. I think it looks really good aesthetically. I think it really gets across that idea that it's part of a bigger station, it's part of a bigger world, because there are so many closed doors on this map that obviously don't go anywhere, but I think that little detail of like, hey, there is a door here, kind of makes a world feel bigger versus other maps where it can look like, okay, there's no doors anywhere. You know, how did we get in here? How do we get out? Like Atlantis, for instance. There are no doors on that map, and it doesn't seem like you're playing a game in an arena. It just feels like you're just there. The layout of the map is perfectly symmetrical. Again, both sides are exactly the same. They have the same chances. There are a couple levels as well, so going up and down, really nice. I don't think it's confusing or difficult at all to get around. I think it's pretty easy. There are opportunities for portal kills, although I haven't seen many people pull them off. But with the giant bottomless pit being below the map at all times, I think it's possible, though I don't think it's likely. Lots of chances for momentum. This map actively encourages you to get momentum because of Railgun at the top center. The only way to get up there is to drop down to the center, portal through, and shoot yourself up to that gun. So this map absolutely encourages momentum. It encourages you to get that. It has the bottom portals. It is just asking you to fly across it, especially with its size. A map this big has to be asking you to fly across it. There are a couple good angles too. You can get to the other side in one portal. You can sneak around pretty much anywhere you are. There's going to be a portal surface nearby, and there's going to be one across the way that you can get to. Do I like Carmen Station? I sure do. I think Carmen Station is really good, and I'm going to put it in A. Lava Well is another interesting one. I think it fits with the whole helix, high wind, crag section of maps in my mind. I think Lava Well also needs a polish. I think it needs to be brought up. The same with Crag. I think it does what it wants to do well. I don't think it needs a glow up, but it could definitely use one. I think the map does what it wants to do very well, and I think it successfully portrays this lava well, this volcanic station that powers their portal technology through the volcano. The layout is pretty simple. I'd say this map is also symmetrical. I'd say this map is also very symmetrical. Both sides have the exact same things in them. It's interesting because there's the indoor section and the outdoor section. And the map isn't very big, but I think you always know where you are and where you're going. I don't think it's confusing at all. This map, technically, you can get portal kills. Again, like most maps, it is not very likely, and I think that 1047 Games is trying to make their maps have more portal kill opportunities, because so far it's very difficult to get, and you can only get them on a couple maps. So this map, it can be done, because there's a bottomless pit, and you could send someone through your portal, but I think it's all up to chance and an accident. Chances for momentum? Absolutely, this map does have them. There's a couple areas. The inside has a floor portal down by the lava. You can drop through that and fly through. So not a ton there. And as far as portal angles go, it's pretty... The map being symmetrical, there's not a whole lot of sneaky angles you can get, but it is easy to portal around, and getting from one place to another, it's pretty obvious to know where you're going. Do I like Lava Well? Yeah, I'd say I like it. I'd say I like Lava Well quite a bit. I think I would put Lava Well in B. Oasis is a very nice map. I like the beach. I like the whole ocean, kind of a tropical planet aesthetic, but also like a desert at the same time. I think it blends those two together really well. The layout, very symmetrical, very similar. It's got the 2 towers for each team, and then it's got the 2 middle sections, the sniping spot and the cheeky rocket launcher spot. Very easy to know where you're going, very easy to know where you are in the map. You spawn, I know exactly where I'm at. Oasis, I think, is fine. I don't think it needs a glow up. I think it looks and plays great. It's very long-range, sniper-heavy map, and if you're running around, you're probably gonna die. You're probably gonna get killed by some sniper or someone with a rocket launcher you didn't see coming. And that's just how it is, you know? But I do love this map. No real portal kill opportunities. I don't think I've ever seen one happen. Someone could fall in the water, I suppose, but it's very unlikely, especially since you can stand in it, and it gives you the out of bounds timer instead of like, oh, you just fell out and died. So no real portal kill opportunities. Definitely a lot of momentum. Lots of chances for momentum. The map is screaming for you to use momentum. There's plenty of floor portals, plenty of surfaces that point up, and there's lots of walls. So very, very likely for you to use momentum. It wants you to use momentum, and it can be done. Although I think because of how open the map is and how sniper heavy it tends to be, flying through the air is not the best idea. So I think it kind of contradicts itself in that regard. But overall, I think it's good. Cheeky angles, there's quite a few. You can get to the other side of the map from spawn really easily. You can get into those underground sections pretty quickly if you're fast enough. Get to those power weapons. Do I like Oasis? Yeah, I'd say I like Oasis. I'd say Oasis is pretty good. I think we're going to put Oasis also in B. Olympus is pretty good. The layout is pretty easy. You can move through it. You generally tend to know where you are, so I don't think it's all that confusing or difficult to get around. But I think by running around on the bottom, you are making yourself vulnerable to snipers and pretty much anyone with a carbine or any way to get you from above, which most of the map is above. So being on that level, I think is pretty dangerous and foolish, and running to a portal wall somewhere else, you're more than likely going to be seen and taken out. Portal mechanics, oh, this is a good portal kill map. This map will get you a portal kill if you are smart about it. You just place on either of those 2 portal walls that are way out on either side, get someone to walk through. They can save themselves. I've done it before, but it's not super easy, and if you don't catch yourself right away, then you're going to die. Portal kill is very easy. You can't start from nothing and move all the way to the center bottom platform because you won't make it. You simply will not make it. But lots of portal kill opportunities. Momentum, hell yeah. This map highly encourages you to use momentum to get around. Lots of chances, lots of places to use it. It's practically begging you, especially with how open it is. It wants you to use momentum to get around, get those momentum kills. Lots of angles too. This is an angle map. You can get pretty much anywhere from anywhere else. It's incredible how many different places someone will come from behind you and kill you. It's crazy. Do I like Olympus? Yes, I do like Olympus. I think Olympus is very good. Overall, it's a great map. There's a lot of cheeky spots you can get to. I'm putting Olympus in A. Pantheon. How do I feel about Pantheon? Pantheon is an interesting map. I think it's a bit lower on my like scale, personally. Pantheon looks good. I think it could also use a glow up, personally. A lot of these maps could, especially compared to how Foregone and Abyss look now, but it doesn't need it. Most of these maps don't need it, but they would look better if they were upgraded. It's interesting because it's like, the map is kind of by the sea, but it's also by a mountain, and it's kind of in this little ditch in between the two. You can see buildings in the distance. I think that's pretty cool. I think anything that makes you feel like you're in a world makes that map feel that much better. I think the map is pretty easy to understand. You know where you're at all times. You know where to go. I think there's a couple areas, though, that are kind of useless. And it feels like they're just kind of there to be there. Like the tunnels on the ground underneath the kind of side middle areas. Just like on the ground, it's just a tunnel through them. There's no portal surfaces in there. And I guess that makes sense. I just don't like them. I feel like they're always death tunnels. You're always going to die if you're hiding in one of those. But it's got that, it's got a middle section. It's got an up and a down. It's got the two sides as well, which actually makes for some pretty interesting plays. But I feel like this map, you're always getting shot at from someone you didn't see. It's always someone on one of the two sides or someone from any of the higher spots. You're always going to get shot by someone in one of those spots. This map has no portal kill opportunities, unfortunately. It sucks. It's sad. But it is what it is. Lots of momentum, though. This map encourages you to use momentum. There's a rocket launcher up in the top center, and that encourages you to use the momentum. There's the momentum walls. There's plenty of places to drop down and go through a portal to get that momentum. So this map's very good momentum-wise. Angles? Now, it's interesting because this map has so many portal walls. It's insane. You can portal around really quickly, and there are lots of places you can go potentially just by stepping outside. There's not really many sneaky ones. There's a couple, but generally it's pretty straightforward. I'm trying to get over there, so I'm portaling through all these different walls, and I'm getting over there. So nothing too sneaky, but I think it's a pretty straightforward map. Do I like Pantheon? It's kind of low on my list, if I'm honest. I think there's plenty of places on there that look cool, but it's useless functionally. Behind both teams' spawn, there's kind of that bridge up top in the back. I mean, I feel like they're not really useful unless you're defending a hill, but even then, not really all that useful. There are little kind of balconies outside on the front of either spawn side, and those aren't useful either. If you're standing there, you're going to get sniped. Someone's going to get you. Like I said, the tunnels are kind of useless. I just feel like it's not the best map. I'm going to put Pantheon, I'll put it in C. It's not my favorite. And finally, Stadium. I love Stadium. Stadium is very good. It aesthetically looks great. It feels like we're in a professional setting, playing a professional sport, doing it professionally. It feels like people are cheering for their teams. You know, it just feels like a great big sporting event. It feels like an arena, like a true classic arena. You can move through the map very quickly. There's lots of portal walls, lots of angles. You can get around. I don't find this map confusing at all. I think from the get-go you know where you are and you know where you're going. 3 levels, kind of 3.5. You got the basement, you got the main level, and you got the upper, and then there's kind of like the transitions between them. The couple on the two sides, little kind of raised areas. No portal kill opportunities here, but there are plenty of chances for momentum. I think they're not super viable just because of how easily you can get shot and how difficult it can be to pull them off in a game. But it is possible, and I've seen people use it before, so I think the momentum is pretty nice here. Lots of portal angles. A couple cheeky ones too, if you think outside of the box. If you are up top and trying to get down, or if you are just flying around even. Like, not even portal angles. Like, there's certain windows you can jump through that don't have glass that I only discovered recently. If you know how to triple portal, getting around is going to be super easy for you. If you remember to portal to the middle hills, you can get some good angles on people on either side of the map. I think it's really good. I think it's a solid map. And do I like it? Yes, I do. I do like Stadium. So Stadium is going in A. And that is it. That is my Splitgate maps tier list. I think I did a pretty good job. I think I was pretty fair. This is just how I feel. And like, none of the maps are so bad they had to fit in F. I don't think any of them are that bad. It's just I like some more than others. I think some of them just have better designs. And this could change. I know, actually recently, my opinions on my tier list, my weapons tier list, changed. Where I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have rated that weapon so low now because I'm starting to use it and like I'm thinking of it differently. And I'm sure the same thing is going to happen to these as well. This tier list could definitely change in the future because maps might get updated. There could be new maps. Lots of different things. I could just start to like a map more after I've played it. Who knows? But anyway, tell me your thoughts. What do you think about my tier list? Do you think it's really good? Do you think it's an S tier list? Or do you think my opinions are garbage and I should be thrown away? and it's an F tier tier list. Let me know what you think. Where do you rank things? Subscribe for more Splitgate content, and I will see you in the arena.